Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we have a series review, and it's taken me I want to say like a while to get through the series, but then not a while compared to some people. But yeah, today we have a series and not just a singular book review, because I thought instead of doing like teeny tiny videos on each little book, I might as well clump them all together and put them in a big video for you guys. So that was my thinking on that. So if you have not guessed by my background already, the series we are reviewing today is the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard, and this is like a deathly hardcore YA series, and I haven't read YA like this for a while. I have to say, since like Shatter Me or something. I think I read Restore Me, and that was the last YA that I read, and you know what, it like fed my soul. It fed my where I started reading when I was like 13, and it just fed that little girl inside that just needed a little bit of YA, needed a little bit of a needed a little bit of a love triangle and some magical powers and some repressed people and politics and kings and queens. It just needed it, okay? So yeah, let's just head on into the review. So I first saw this book all over Instagram, like everywhere, and if you've seen my previous videos, you've seen that I got this book from World's Books just because I wanted to give it a go. I was like, what's the hype? But then, as well as that, I used to live in Nottingham, and I saw that Victoria Aveyard was doing a kind of a meet and greet book signing interview about her last book, which is Warstorm. I just thought, do you know what, forget it, you've not read the first one, it doesn't matter, you can just go, you can just enjoy being there, you can just enjoy meeting an author who has created these global bestsellers and all that sort of stuff. And do you know what, it was amazing. Like, follow me on Instagram, which you all should be doing anyway. I put them in my little stories, which was really good because she was so lovely. She was so nice. She was so nice. And I got this little. We now interrupt this broadcast because I just got some book mail. Yeah, I just had to quickly go out into the door because I got some book mail. These are all my books for my dissertation for next year, so that's going to be fun. But you know, we'll talk about that another time. So, as I was saying, when I went, I got this as well as getting this copy signed, and this copy signed. I got my Red Queen series bookmark, and I got this poster, but I think because I'm not really into the series that much, like that I want merch, so I think in my next giveaway I'm going to include these because it is really cool. Like, look how cool that is. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do because I haven't touched them or anything, so I think it'd be nice to do that. And I will be doing a mini giveaway when I hit 1.5k, so it would be really nice for you guys to kind of just give me a little nudge, you know? I'm only about 200 away, so that's not that far. We can get 1.5k done by, I don't know. I can never predict these things. Anyway, so I got these cute little fandom merchy things. But yeah, anyway, on to the actual review instead of me just chatting about nothing. Right, okay, so we'll start off with the Red Queen, obviously. And just a disclaimer, there might be some spoilers in here, and I'm really sorry if there are, but I will try and keep the spoilers to like 0%, but I'm really sorry if there are. So yeah, I'm sorry. And if I think there's going to be a spoiler, I'll kind of say maybe spoiler, but yeah. So, as I've already mentioned, this was her first one, so this was written like 4 years ago. So from reading this, I've read them all in like succession of each other, so like straight away. So from reading this to reading this, you can definitely tell a change in text, a change of language, a change of like the fact that she's grown up more, and it's not as simple, and it's a lot more detailed, and the way she's writing is developed, which is quite good. But you know what, I love this, even though the writing wasn't the best. She said that herself, so I'm not hating on her, but even though the writing wasn't like amazing, Like, I was still sucked in. I read this, if you follow my Insta stories, within like 2.5 days. So I started it on the Tuesday, which was the day of the book signing, and I read like 2 or 3 chapters. I was like, you need to read some of it so you know what the hell's going on. So I read some of it, and then as soon as I got back, I watched a bit of TV with my flatmate, and then straight into bed, read like a quarter. The next day, almost finished it, and then piled over to the next day after that. Boom, it was done. My God, so good. After, like, as I was saying, after reading so much kind of contemporary, modern, adult fiction, normal stuff, it was nice to just kind of read this and get sucked back into the YA world, I have to say. It was so good. And I love how a lot of people compare it to the Hunger Games purely because, do you know what, I don't even know why. I mean, I get because there's a girl in a rebellion and suppressed people, but it's completely different to the Hunger Games. It really is. If you don't already know the series, it is about this girl, Mare Barrow, and the world that she lives in is split into 2, Silvers and Reds. Silvers are the high class elites with silver blood, and they somehow have these superhero powers due to evolution. They've just evolved that they have these qualities that can control fire, metal, some can silence other people's abilities, some are healers, some are strong arms, so they're just really strong, some are oblivions, they can just crush things with their minds, that sort of thing, you know? Whereas the Reds, standard people, like you and me, they bleed red, etc. And the Reds live in the poor area, that's where Mare lives, and the world works that if you don't have an apprenticeship or some world of work by the time you're 18 or something, you get conscripted to the war, so you just get immediately shipped off to the war, and that's the fate for all Reds. Yeah. And then I'm going to kind of gloss over the bit that it changes because that's where all the action and everything, and I don't want to spoil any of that. But somehow she finds herself in the palace, and then she finds out that she's not who she actually thought she was, and that kind of led to a massive evolution and rebellion and everything, and that kind of goes through each of the book, and there's princes involved, and then there's a love triangle as well. So that is the Red Queen series in a nutshell, I have to say. I really love the concept of like the silver blood. Like, don't you think it's so cool to just like cut yourself? Obviously that's not cool, but like to cut yourself and just bleed silver, like you like bleed like metal, like wow. I really also love the fact that they've all got their own little abilities, but then, this is a little spoiler, I love how the New Bloods have corresponding abilities but are just somewhat better in a way, somewhat unknown. So like, you'll have Cal, who is, I don't even know what his name, I don't even know the name of his thing, he has fire. But then you also have a New Blood who would have fire, but for some reason theirs is just a little bit more better. But then you have other people who have lightning powers which don't correspond to any of the Silvers at all, so it works that way. Like, it's really good. I have to say, the plot twist in the first book, even though it was really big, I kind of expected it. And I'm not going to say what the plot twist is. It concerns Mare and how her world gets flipped upside down, but I'm not going to say what it is. But I kind of expected it, and I don't know if that's because I went to the book signing and they were all talking about her situation, or just because of the way it builds it up. So she was talking to her dad in one scene, and they were outside, and something went off with the electricity and the box went off. And it was from that point I went, boom, I know what's going to happen now. Do you know? So it wasn't a bad thing, just putting it out there that I kind of anticipated it. Some people may not, I just did. Oh my god, also, the last, like, this plot twist I did not see coming. The last one, like, I still can't get over it now, like, the betrayal. The betrayal is so deep in this series. I just think in my head, like, who hurt you, Victoria? Like, who? Basically, there was an allegiance, like a rebel allegiance, including some high-housed prince, I'm not going to say which one, is within the allegiance, and then it cracks off. It just, that's all I can say, because I feel really bad. Even though this book is 4 years old, like, you guys have all read it by now. So, but yeah, it cracks off, and you're just kind of thinking, do I even trust anybody anymore? that's what happens. I love, do you know what she's good at? Action and suspense, yeah? This whole series had me on edge. And every time there was a fight scene or an action scene or Mare was running away from something, I was like flick, 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 reading it all. What? This only scratches the surface of all the characters. So if you're thinking, it's a bit naff, you don't really get a lot from it. I wish I could find out more about the characters and more about what other people are feeling. Just wait. Just you keep going, and honey, you're gonna know everything. You are gonna know everything. I love how complex the characters are from the get-go. The main ones that are included in the first book, like as soon as they're introduced, they're so complex. You just, yeah, and especially Mare, she just keeps going, and you're just thinking, Jesus Christ. But another thing that Aveyard mentioned when we were at the signing was that she wanted it to kind of be reflective of a young girl's journey through life anyway. Like, you don't know who you are, you're changing, your emotions are changing, you've got these boys and love interests coming into your life confusing you just want to do your own thing, and then just, do you know? So I get it. Jesus Christ. Just had another mini detour up into the attic in order to find some paint, but I couldn't find it. Anyway, we need to move on, and do you know what? This hair is really irking me. It just needs to go up. Okay, so on to Glass Sword, which is the second book here, and this follows on directly from the events of Red Queen. So Red Queen ends just kind of as they're in this arena fighting. I'm not going to say who they is, I'm not going to say why they're fighting about, but just then. And this literally directly follows on from the aftermath of that, which I thought was really good, because then it's just kind of like a massive sequence. Just honestly, if I didn't have each book written down, I would have no clue what happened individually. That's what happened with my Mortal Instruments book. Like, I read them straight after each other, and now I just can't distinguish what happens in each one. No way. Even though there's a lot more action in this book, I found that it went slower for me to read. Like, I didn't get through it as quick. I think it took me 10 days, according to my little journal, to read this one. And yeah, which I thought was really weird. I did like the developing relationship between Cal and Mare. Obviously, it's like obvious that it's gonna happen. But then, one thing I didn't really like is I don't know how you say his name. Kilorn, I don't know. I don't like the fact that he liked Mare as well. Like, I just feel like that was just so cliche and just so overdone. Like, everyone likes her best friend. You've got Clary and Simon, and you've got Gale and Katniss, and then you've got I'm sure it happens in Divergent too or something like that. But like, it's done, yeah, you know. Gotta stop with that sort of situation. But yeah, apart from that, I really liked the relationship between Cal and Mare. It was just thought it was cute, you know. She brought out a different side to him, and it was just really lovely. As well as that, I like the lessons that Mare had to make it into Marina, which then helped her in turn to be a better leader for like her little group. So like the Silvers didn't know that by turning her into one of them, effectively made it so that she then became out to be a better leader and a better person for the people that she needed to be. Does that make sense? She has to be... They made her better, basically. They made her better. Like, all the lessons that Lady... What was her name? Lady Bolognese? I don't know. Lady whatever helped her in turn with her confidence, with her court presence, which allowed her to just kind of be like this face of steel amongst all this panic, and I just really appreciated that. Really did. Oh my god, also, is it this one? I think it's in this book. Do you know, this is what I mean, I'm getting confused now because I've seen them all. Yes, it is in this. The fact that what I was saying about not being able to trust anybody is just like, you have Shade's warnings that he gives to Mare, then you also have Killian's betrayal. I'm not going to say how he betrayed them, but like, if you've read it, you know what I mean. Like, you just don't know if he is doing it for their good, or if he's doing it for his own good, or if he really has turned against his best friend. But do you know what, it just kept you on edge. You were just thinking like, I can't, this is stressful for me reading it, let alone Mayor being in it, you know? As I was saying with complex characters and that you don't really get enough of them in the first book, this one, I think with Maven, you kind of see another side to him and you see how complex he is and how, do you know what, I still don't understand him. If anything, I feel sorry for him, the poor boy, messed up by his mum. Oops, I think that might have been a spoiler. I do, but you can kind of see where he is at in this book. You can kind of see where he's starting to like form. But you question, does he actually care for Mare? And I think he does, just in a really sick way. It's like how a kidnapper would care for his kidnappee. Like, isn't that called like Stockholm syndrome or something? But yeah, like in that way. Oh my god, but right, okay, this might be a spoiler, but do you know what, I don't even care. I just love all the new bloods and I love the little training camp. Like, that reminds me of Percy Jackson. You know, where they're all like, is it Camp New Blood in Percy Jackson? I'm really sorry if it's not, because I don't really read it. But from the film, I'm sorry. It just reminds me of that, and it's just so cool, like how they're all training together and how they're like saving people effectively. Like, it's just really good. Also, I don't know if you guys found it too, but Julian is like Mare's guiding compass. So when he was away, she was just all over the place, like ratty, irrational, kind of losing herself a little bit in this book, I think. But then as soon as he came back, she kind of became calmer. She had a little guiding compass there. She became herself a little bit more and calmed it down. Which, yeah, I think that's, their relationship is really quite sweet. I did really love it. I love Julian. Like, even though he has I would say one of the powerfulest powers, he's a singer, which means he can influence your mind. Like, if he just looks into your eyes, he can basically make you do stuff, which I think is like ridiculously powerful, but he is the most gentle human. So I quite like how she contrasted them both. Also, she knows how to end things. Victoria, you know how to end things to keep us just going, you know, like, I can't imagine myself reading this series over a space of 4 years, having to wait a year for each book. No way. I had to do that with Shatter Me, and even then that freaked me out. But, yeah, the ending, you think everything's be okay, they've planned out their strategic moves, and they've planned everything out, they're on their way, it's going to get conducted, everything's all right, and then boom, plucked straight out the air. If you've read it, you know what I mean, and just taken away. And then you just kind of sat there thinking, why? So, overall with this one, Glass Sword, I didn't get through it as quickly as I wanted to, which I was really disappointed about. And I think, not that it wasn't as engaging, but I feel like there was a lot more detail in it for me, so I had to take my time a lot more to make sure that I got every little sequence in my head. So, it's good and bad in that way. And there's so much more drama, so you've got to focus on everything just a little bit more. So, yeah. There's that one. Right, okay, so now on to King's Cage. This is the 3rd instalment of the Red Queen series. And I want to say, like, these books just get gradually thicker and thicker. And I'm not opposed to that. So this one, I'm going to say a bit of a spoiler, Mare's basically trapped the whole time. Okay? And because of that, Victoria introduced changing POVs, which I'm actually not opposed to. I love changing POVs because you then get a broader horizon of everything that you can see as to what's going on. So yeah, because obviously Mare's confined, it's quite, we, a lot of the time, have more knowledge on what's going on with Mare, so it kind of puts us in an advantage, and the poor girl who's kind of there, I'm not going to say where, because, you know, spoiler, she's just there, and she doesn't know what's going on, it's wasting away, and it's quite nice. If it was solely based on Mare, it would be really boring. It would be really boring, because she's changing POVs, the little bits that we do have of Mare is quite, like, good to read. So, yeah. I found with these books, they gradually got slower for me as I was reading them, and I don't know if that's because of detail or I just wasn't as engaged with them, but they gradually got slower for me. But then in this book, I'd have to say over half of it was quite slow, and I was just thinking, come on now, where are we gonna go? But then 3/4 of the way after a certain change in the story that I can't really go into detail with, after that it just went boom, like it went shoom, and went so quick after that. So there's that. I have to say it did go quick towards the end, but I find that with any dystopian action novel like this, they tend to go really slow in the beginning, because I found that with Restore Me, and then at the end they just kind of speed through and you're like, oh god, it's over so quickly. Also, I did not think I would love Evangeline as much as I do, but she is incredible. Like, when you first see her, like, what a cow, she's such a snotty little silver, she doesn't know anything, but yeah, again, with the changing POVs, you allowed inside her head, and it kind of gives you some sympathy for her, I have to say. And Farley, oh my god, she's just queen. If anyone was going to lead, if anyone was going to actually rule Nauta, it would be Farley, because she is just a queen, and everything she's had to go through with her partner and the aftermath of that is, anyone who's read the book, you will know what I'm on about, but I don't want to ruin it for everybody else, because that was the biggest plot twist that I cannot get over, was the death of a certain character that shall not be named as of yet. Evangeline's privilege, she kind of shows you that it's not a privilege, but it's actually a prison. Even though she's been given all these things, she's still trapped and she's still being told what to do. Like, she loves somebody else, but she's forced into a marriage with a different person. She follows her dad's orders all the time, and you kind of feel sorry for her. Like, I think she says a few times that she does kind of envy how free Mare is. Like, even though she's oppressed and has no power whatsoever, Mare, she kind of does envy her a little bit, which annoys her, which is quite funny. But no, I have to say, Evangeline is my all-time favourite character in this series. As Mare, she gets on my nerves a little bit, but I think that's a lot of the female protagonists of what I've read. They tend to get on my nerves after a while, because sometimes they're so whiny, you know? But no, oh my god, there's also this one bit, I think after a certain milestone in a relationship was reached, Farley's there, sat in hospital, giving Mare contraceptive advice, and I was literally just creasing because of the circumstances they were saying it in. But the hospital circumstance she was in, it was quite ironic that Farley was then giving Mare contraceptive advice. So if you kind of understand what I'm saying, you'll probably be able to guess why it was funny. But it was just hilarious. I just thought, wow, only Aveyard would be able to include a message inside of this. I have always appreciated and loved Aveyard's battle scenes. Like, you can tell, researches everything. Like, she knows all of her stuff. And she said that in her signing, to be fair. Like, she takes a lot of inspiration. She loves to read history books. I think that Julian-ness is her. So she loves to read history books, she loves maths, and I think she quite enjoyed researching battle strategies to then actually include it into her work to make it that much more believable. And I have to say, it worked, because her battle scenes, I'm just reading them like, skipping through, like, this is so good. Overall, you can tell that this book is penultimately building to something else, a lot bigger, you know? And I'm not opposed to it, I love that. Yeah. But I love how, and she also puts in so much detail, so much. But then I also think it slows the narrative down a little bit, which I'm not really like appealed to. Like, I want to be able to, I'm really bad, I want to just kind of zoom through books. Like, I don't like spending a lot of time on them. I'll say that. I mean, I don't like spending more, say if I've got a book and it is probably this size, if I'm on it for more than 2 weeks, no, if I'm on it for more than a week even, I kind of get a bit like frustrated with it. And I've realised it's because her chapters are so long. I think the first book's chapters were so short, it's so much easier to get through. But as the chapters get on, you just kind of feel it drag a little bit if you're not really into it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I do really love this one too. Oh, I didn't show you guys my sign-ins. Okay, we'll start with this one because I forgot Red Queen. I forgot to take it. And this is the post-it note that she wrote. Well, someone wrote down so that she could spell my name right. And they've all. All right. Do you know what? Before we get on to the last one, I'm gonna show you all the maps and everything that's in the box. Aww. So this is the Red Queen original book. This is the original map in there. So So there's that one. And then in Glass Sword, there's my, that is my signing. Oh yeah, too pretty. There's no map in this one? There's no map in that one, I thought there was. And this is King's Cage, and there's my other signing. And see, you can see this map is a lot better, a lot bigger than the other one. Oh, it's because this is a lot more zoomed in, I think. I see. Right, and then we go on to Warstorm, which is the fourth and final instalment of the Red Queen series. And I just need to take the jacket off for a second, because I just need you guys to appreciate the blue edged pages, how beautiful they are, and the lovely spine. I'm sorry, there's just something about this. See, I love hardbacks, but at the same time I hate it because the hardback, even though it's pretty, it doesn't have anything on the covers and it's all on the jacket, but then the jacket just gets so tatty at the edges. It's a bit annoying like that. So that is my third sign-in on there, and this is the map, and I think the third and fourth map are basically the same, but this one I literally just finished last night, and as soon as I finished it, I got my little journal straight away and I was like, right, before I forget anything, let's quick write it all down. And you know, this actually took me a month to read. A month. And I really don't know why, and I think it's because the chapters were just so damn long. They were like 30-40 pages a chapter. So look, chapter 20, Mare, starts on page 348 and ends on 370. That is like 30 pages of stuff. But yeah, I'm not really one for really long chapters, so I think that's why it takes me so long. The POVs that were first created in King's Cage move on into this, and I love it so much. Books with POVs really get me, like the multi-instruments, even though they're not set POVs like this, Cassandra Clare writes in third person, so she describes it from everybody's point of view, which is just really good. And I'm just reiterating, Evangeline was probably the real winner of this. Forget the war, forget Mare and Cal, forget Maven, forget all of that. Evangeline was the real winner in this because she got what she wanted in the end. Okay, that was probably a spoiler. But she got what she wanted in the end. She was free, she wanted her love, she went towards her love, she didn't want to be nobody else's, and you know what? I was just like, yes, Evangeline, you do you, boo. I feel kind of incomplete. And I don't know why, but I feel like I need a standalone from like Giza's point of view, you know? From a different member that kind of was not really included. Or plot twist, oh my god, I've just thought of this. We need to do, what's her name? Clara. We need to do, what, not we, Aveyard needs to do, petition for this by the way, I think I'm going to tweet it. She needs to do a, let's say, 10-year fast forward from Clara's POV. So when Clara's like 10 or 15 or whatever, and we need to see what the new world is like. It could just be one book, you know? One book, or a trilogy. I'm not asking for much, you know? But I think we need a Clara development, just so we can see the new world from her eyes. Because I think that'd be really interesting. But anyway, I was thinking from Giza, I think you need something to balance Mare's. Like, Mare, for God's sake, ruined Giza's career, got her hand smashed. Spoilers, sorry. Moved them all to different places, left them all in worry, and I feel like we need to hear from Giza. She was always there, always supporting her most of the time, and I think she needs a bit of a voice. I think it'd be quite interesting. What do you do? And I think there were so many character developments throughout this series, but mainly in this last book, not just with Evangeline but with Cal as well. Like, he went from being this king in training to this rebel to then this proclaimed king again, but then he discovered in his own right what he actually wanted, not what everybody else wanted. And then I thought that was quite interesting and quite lovely, because he then thought, you know what, now I'm going to take a step back. Just because you guys want me to be king doesn't mean I actually want to be king. The poor lad just needs a break. He needs a hot bath and a cup of tea, in my opinion. Thought in the most cliche YA way, Aveyard would have kept them together. They're fighting together as one and whatnot, but she didn't. She separated them, and she did it in such a grown-up way because they both understood that they needed their own space and they needed to develop themselves as people without each other first, and then who knows, they could get together again one day, which I thought was really nice, and it just went outside of the box completely, and I did really love it. And I love the fact that we got to see some of Montfort, and it was nice to see a glimpse of what the world could be. But overall, this series fed my YA soul. Like, my soul is now complete for a long while, because my next year is just going to be dissertation reading, articles, scholarly things, everything, and I feel like I've fed my soul enough to be able to go through it. And yeah, my blog for the next year is probably going to be so boring because I won't even be reading anything new, so I apologise in advance for that, by the way. And I didn't know I needed this series until I started this series, because I'd never even heard of it until I got my Bookstagram, and I'm so glad that I did. So this was my review and wrap up of the Red Queen series. I really hoped you enjoyed this video, guys, and let me know if you'd like me to do more stuff like this, more reviews. They don't get as much views as everything else, but do you know what, I really like doing them. It's so much easier than writing everything out, you know. I used to say that a lot, don't I? You know. But yeah, let me know if you would like to see more reviews in this style, because I really like doing them all in one go. It's just so much easier. And these will be included in my second half of the year book roundup of what I've read. Yeah, I think that's it. I am currently reading How to Drive by Ben Collins, because I am currently learning how to drive. So that is what I'm doing. I'm going to calm down from the fiction reading at the minute and start. I think I've got to restart The Handmaid's Tale ready for when I get back in September. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all of that good stuff down below. And I will see you guys in my next video. Have a lovely day. See you later.